Okay, so every November, I feel like millions of homeowners do this exact same, really dangerous and just kind of irrational ritual.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly where you're going with this. The latter.
Right, the latter. It's
Yeah.
like you walk into this freezing garage, you pull down a damp, decaying cardboard box, and you just have to untangle, 50 feet of electrified wire.
And it's always tangled no matter how carefully you put it away.
Really, always. And then you drag this heavy, wobbly aluminum ladder outside, prop it up against a frozen gutter, and climb 20 feet into the air.
Yeah.
And you're risking a catastrophic fall, honestly, all just to clip some festive lights to your roofline. It is objectively a logistical
It
nightmare.
really is.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a perfect microcosm of homeownership, right?
How do you mean?
Well, you have this desired outcome like a beautiful, well-maintained home,
Yeah.
but the path to actually get there requires either personal physical risk or navigating the incredibly opaque world of hiring contractors.
Oh, man. Yeah, contractor anxiety is so real.
Exactly. Yeah. And the anxiety doesn't stop at holiday lights.
Yeah.
You look up at your roof, you see this green organic growth, or you see water overflowing your gutters during a massive storm, and you know there is a problem.
Right. You can see the symptom.
Yeah. But for the vast majority of people, the diagnosis just starts there. Like you don't know the root cause, you don't understand the material science of the fix, and most importantly, you have no idea who you can actually trust to fix it.
Which brings us perfectly to our mission for this deep dive. Today, we're going to look at the actual mechanics and really the underlying business philosophy of exterior property care.
Yeah, this is a fascinating one.
It is, and we're using a really specific stack of source material to anchor this exploration. We're looking at the 2022 digital footprint and service menu of a Northern California company called PV North Gutter Filters and Exterior Cleaning.
Right, PV North.
So we're going to examine how a local home service company basically structures its operations to solve these massive homeowner pain points. And for you listening, whether you're just managing a single family home or like a massive commercial apartment complex, understanding the principles we're about to unpack here will fundamentally change how you evaluate property maintenance.
Totally. And the source material is super interesting because, we are looking at a direct examination of PV North's official company website from a few years ago.
Yeah, it's like a time capsule of their service model.
Exactly. We're going to analyze their specific service offerings, everything from permanent architectural lighting to their whole approach to gutter systems. But we're also looking at their explicit operational philosophy.
Which they put right out there in the open.
Right. They published this very specific set of core values, and I love this part. They even left behind this highly revealing piece of web design metadata.
Oh, we are definitely going to talk about the metadata later. It's so good.
It gives us a real glimpse into the actual ethos of the company, right? Kind of strips away the usual corporate marketing veneer.
Okay, let's unpack this, because before we dive into the physical engineering of gutter filters or like the chemistry of roof washing, we really have to look at the psychological baseline this company tries to establish.
Yeah, the psychology is key here.
Right, because the home services industry is just infamous for what economists call information asymmetry.
Right, where one side holds all the cards.
Exactly. The contractor knows everything about the house, and the homeowner knows almost nothing. So how does PV North's stated philosophy attempt to bridge that gap?
Well, they address it by directly attacking what I would call the contractor's knowledge monopoly.
The knowledge monopoly, I like that.
Yeah. In the source text, they explicitly list their core values. They have honesty, claiming 100% honest work to this industry. They list integrity, stating all work is guaranteed and warranted.
Yeah.
They lean on experience, saying they have years of experience with all types of systems. But the most revealing value they list is what they call forthright solutions.
And they don't leave that up for interpretation either.
No, they immediately define it in the text with a very blunt statement. They say literally, no overcharged services or extra added fees.
See, that specific phrasing, no extra or added fees, it feels incredibly targeted to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's not just a generic, we have great prices. It reads like a direct response to a very specific industry trauma that homeowners have.
It is. It's a direct response to the bait and switch, which is honestly the most common manifestation of that information asymmetry we were just talking about.
Walk me through that. How does the bait and switch usually play out?
So here's how it typically works in exterior maintenance. A contractor comes out and quotes you an artificially low price just to win the bid and get onto your property.
Right, they just want to get their foot in the door.
Exactly. So they start pulling down your old gutters, and suddenly, surprise, they stop working. They call you outside and say, oh, hey, look at this fascia board behind the gutter. It's got some hidden rot. We can't install the new gutters until we replace this wood.
Oh, wow.
And by the way, that's going to be an extra $2,000.
And what are you supposed to do at that point? Your house is literally torn apart.
Exactly. You have zero leverage. You just have to pay the added fee.
So you're essentially taken hostage by the architecture of your own house.
Precisely. You are trapped.
Yeah.
So by explicitly writing no overcharged services or extra added fees right there on their landing page, PV North is like weaponizing transparency.
Weaponizing transparency. That's a strong way to put it.
But it's true. They are telling the consumer, look, we know the game other companies play, and we refuse to play it. And think about what that means for their business. It forces their estimators to be incredibly precise during the initial inspection.
Right, because if they mess up, it's on them.
Exactly. If PV North misses a complicated architectural quirk during their, quote, they eat the cost, not the homeowner, that shifts the financial risk completely away from you and places it squarely on their own operational competence.
Okay, I hear that, but I want to push back on this a little bit.
Sure.
Because it's very easy to put a bold claim like 100% honest work on a website, right? Like marketing copy is essentially free. Anyone can type that.
True.
So if I'm a skeptical homeowner reading this, I'm thinking, sure, you say no hidden fees, but how does your actual business model prove that based on what we're seeing in the service menu? Like if the ethos is the theory, where's the operational proof?
That's a great question. And we find the proof when we look at how they approach their flagship service, which is gutter filters and installations.
Okay, let's get into the gutters.
The source material outlines their approach to gutter systems with two really heavily emphasized phrases. They say, no exclusive brand, and they boast a diverse collection.
Wait, I'm stuck on the no exclusive brand thing. Isn't it usually better if a contractor is like a certified exclusive specialist in one premium brand? Doesn't that imply they are highly trained, top-tier experts in that specific hardware? Why is it a good thing that PV North uses this diverse mishmash of whatever is on the market?
Well, think of it like going to an optometrist who only sells one single prescription of glasses.
Okay.
Those glasses might be manufactured with the absolute highest quality glass in the world. The frames might be aerospace-grade titanium, and the doctor might be an absolute expert at placing them on your face.
Sure.
But if you are nearsighted, and that doctor only holds an exclusive contract to sell lenses for far-sighted people, you're still going to crash your car.
Ah, wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. You need the physics of the lens to match the specific anatomy of your eye.
So a proprietary gutter filter is just a lens with one prescription.
Exactly. And the architecture of a home in Northern California can vary wildly from neighborhood to neighborhood. The physics of water runoff are entirely dependent on the materials and the pitch of the roof.
So if they only have one solution, they're just forcing it to fit.
Right. If a contractor is an exclusive dealer for, say, one proprietary brand of micromesh gutter guard, their only goal when they arrive at your house is to sell you that specific micromesh guard. They basically act as salespeople for a manufacturer rather than acting as a diagnostic consultant for your home.
Okay, let's dive into the actual fluid dynamics of that for a second, because this is fascinating. The sources say PV North installs on any roof type, and they specifically list tile, asphalt shingles, metal, and flat roofs.
Yes.
So how does water behave differently across those materials, and why does that mandate having a diverse collection of gutter filters?
Let's take a steep-pitched standing seam metal roof, right?
Okay.
Metal is incredibly slick. So during a heavy Northern California downpour, water accelerates down a metal roof at a massive velocity.
It just rockets down.
Exactly. Now, if you install a solid cover, reverse curve gutter guard on that.
What is a reverse curve cart?
Oh, sorry. It's the kind that relies on surface tension to pull water around a solid curve and then down into the trough underneath.
Oh, I've seen those. They look like a solid hood over the gutter.
Yeah, exactly. So if you put that on a steep metal roof, the water is just moving way too fast. It completely breaks the surface tension, overshoots the gutter entirely, and just destroys the landscaping below.
Oh, wow. So the water basically turns into a ski jumper. It hits the edge of the roof and just launches into the air.
That's a perfect way to visualize it, yes.
Yeah.
A ski jumper. Now take that exact same reverse curve gutter guard and put it on a low-pitch asphalt shingle roof.
Okay.
Asphalt is very porous and heavily textured with all those ceramic granules, so water moves much, much slower across it. In that scenario, the reverse curve guard works beautifully.
Because the water actually has time to stick to the curb?
Exactly. The water has time to adhere to the curve, flow into the channel, while the solid cover keeps all the big oak leaves out.
And what about the debris itself? I have to imagine a tiny pine needle behaves very differently than a massive wet maple leaf.
Radically differently. Like, a micro mesh filter might be brilliant at keeping out tiny pine needles from a giant redwood tree.
Right.
But if you have heavy, wet, broad leaves falling on a low-pitched roof, those leaves will just plaster themselves flat across the micromesh.
Oh, I see. They seal it off.
Yeah, they seal it like a vacuum, and then the water just sheets right over the top of the leaves. So, by refusing to lock themselves into an exclusive brand, PV North allows their installers to actually evaluate the specific variables of your property.
You look at the whole picture.
Right. They look at the roof pitch, the roofing material, the surrounding tree canopy, and then they select the exact engineering profile required to manage that specific fluid dynamic.
So they aren't forcing the architecture to accommodate the product. They are selecting the product to serve the architecture.
Exactly.
And that brings us to the most staggering detail in this section of the source material, because once they select the perfect fit from this diverse collection, they back it up with a 25-plus year warranty on all filters and gutter guards.
Yeah, that part is wild. In the context of exterior home maintenance, 25 years is almost an unfathomable timeline.
Surely.
We are talking about a product that sits outside 24 hours a day, exposed to intense UV radiation in the summer, freezing temperatures in the winter, constant moisture, and, the corrosive acidity of decomposing organic matter.
Right. To put that timeline into perspective for the listener, a 25-year warranty is effectively the lifespan of a standard mortgage.
It really is.
You buy a home, you hire PV North to engineer a custom water diversion system using their agnostic brand approach, and you theoretically do not have to think about cleaning a gutter again until the house is paid off.
It's amazing.
It totally transforms a frustrating seasonal chore into a permanent generational structural upgrade.
And, the economics of offering a warranty that long are deeply tied to that brand agnostic philosophy we just talked
Oh,
about.
so?
Well, if you are a contractor forcing that reverse curve guard onto a steep metal roof where it clearly doesn't belong, you cannot offer a 25-year warranty.
Because it's going to fail immediately.
Right. You will be fielding angry phone calls every single time it rains because the water is overshooting the gutter and flooding the client's basement. The financial liability of constantly rolling a truck out to fix a mismatched system would bankrupt the company within 5 years.
So the warranty is almost like the ultimate lie detector test for their 100% honest work claim.
Exactly.
You simply cannot guarantee a system for a quarter of a century unless you know with absolute mathematical certainty that the physical hardware perfectly matches the environmental variables of that specific house.
It proves that they are willing to bet the long-term solvency of their entire business on their ability to get the diagnosis right on day one.
Now, that level of diagnostic precision is a massive safety net for a single-family homeowner. But the source material shows that PV North scales this operation up to an entirely different level of complexity.
Yes, the commercial side.
Right. They don't just work on suburban cul-de-sacs. They actively target the commercial sector. The sources list apartments and carports, cleanings and repairs, and they specifically advertise fast scheduling for property managers across all of Northern California.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the transition from residential to commercial property management introduces a completely new set of variables. And those are primarily centered around scale and liability.
Liability is a huge word in that industry.
Huge. When a single homeowner has a clogged gutter, it's an annoyance, right? Maybe some water pools near the roses.
Right.
When an apartment complex manager has a clogged gutter over a multi-unit carport, it is a ticking legal time bomb.
Walk us through the anatomy of that liability. Why is a commercial carport so dangerous if it's not properly maintained?
Well, think about the structure. Commercial carports typically have massive, flat, or very low-slope roofs. They collect vast amounts of water and debris.
Okay.
If the drainage system fails, like if the downspouts clog with leaves and dirt, hundreds of gallons of water begin to pool on that flat surface.
Oh, boy.
And water is incredibly heavy. It weighs roughly 8 pounds per gallon. So that pooling creates immense structural stress, which can literally lead to a collapse, crushing the tenants' vehicles below.
That is a nightmare scenario for a property manager. But even if it doesn't collapse, that water has to go somewhere, right? It starts spilling over the edges in these uncontrolled sheets.
And where does it spill? directly onto the asphalt parking lot or the concrete walkways.
Oh, no.
Right. And in the winter months in Northern California, temperatures can easily drop below freezing overnight.
Right.
So that uncontrolled sheet of water turns into a massive, invisible sheet of black ice right where tenants are walking to their cars at like 6 in the morning.
Wow.
A slip-and-fall lawsuit from black ice can cost a property management company hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So when PV North advertises fast scheduling for property managers, they aren't just selling convenience. They are selling rapid risk mitigation.
Absolutely. Time is the ultimate enemy of a property manager. If a tenant reports a massive leak over their car, the manager cannot wait 3 weeks for a contractor to put them on the schedule.
They need it fixed yesterday.
They need immediate deployment to neutralize the hazard. PV North's ability to offer rapid scheduling across the wide geographic footprint in Northern California means they basically act as a centralized operational pressure release valve for these managers.
It's the concept of vendor consolidation.
Exactly.
If you manage an apartment complex, you don't want to call a roofing guy to look at the carport, and then a different gutter guy to fix the downspouts, and a third exterior cleaning company to wash the algae off the walkways. You want one phone call to handle the entire exterior ecosystem. You just hand the liability to a single guaranteed crew.
And because PV North adheres to that no hidden fees ethos we talked about earlier, the property manager can actually forecast their annual maintenance budget accurately.
That's huge for their margins.
Right. They know exactly what it will cost to maintain the baseline health of the property without fear of unexpected invoices destroying their quarterly profits.
Okay, so we've spent a lot of time talking about defense. Cleaning gutters, repairing carports, managing water runoff. This is all defensive work. It is meant to stop the property from degrading.
Right. Keeping nature at bay.
But PV North's service menu also goes on the offensive. They offer services designed to actively elevate the aesthetic and the lifestyle of the property, which brings us back to that terrifying ladder ritual we talked about at the very beginning of the show.
Yes. The holiday lights. We are looking at their integration of modern technology into home exteriors here. The sources highlight permanent lighting and holiday lighting.
Okay.
But the critical engineering descriptions they use in the text are one-time install, not visible and control with phone.
Okay, I want to focus on the phrase not visible because this is where the permanent lighting industry used to fail so miserably.
That was awful.
Right. Nobody wants their beautiful craftsman home or like their sleek mid-century modern house to look like a used car dealership during the day.
Definitely not.
With those chunky plastic LED tracks just bolted to the front of the wood trim. Used to be such an eyesore.
Yeah, the architectural aesthetic of a home is a really delicate balance.
Yeah.
Traditional permanent lighting solutions were incredibly obtrusive. But modern permanent lighting systems, the kind PV North is actually installing, utilize specialized aluminum tracks that are color-matched to the exact shade of the home's fascia board or soffit.
Oh, that's smart.
And the LED diodes are completely recessed inside these tracks.
So they essentially camouflage the hardware right into the existing architecture.
Exactly. The tracks just mimic the appearance of standard architectural molding. So during the day, unless you are standing directly underneath the eaves and staring straight up at them, the system is completely invisible.
So you don't ruin the daytime look of the house at all.
Right. The clean lines of the roof remain uninterrupted. You preserve the daylight curb appeal of the property perfectly. But then, at night, the property just undergoes a total transformation.
And that transformation happens without anyone ever setting foot on a wobbly ladder again because of the control with phone aspect. This feels to me like the logical conclusion of the smart home revolution.
It really is. It is the exterior expansion of interior convenience.
I love that phrasing.
Think about it. We've spent the last decade adapting to smart thermostats, where you can, warm up your house while you're still driving home from work.
Right.
We have smart indoor bulbs that change color temperature based on the time of day. PV North is basically taking that exact same frictionless user experience and applying it to the facade of the home.
Let's talk about the actual mechanics of that app integration, though. Like, how much flexibility does a homeowner actually have with these systems? Or are we just talking on and off?
Oh, no. It's practically limitless. Because these are addressable RGB diode systems, every single light on the track can be controlled independently via the smartphone app.
Wait, Individually.
individually. You are no longer dealing with those clunky mechanical timer dials plugged into a garage outlet. You can set the system to display, say, a warm, subtle architectural white light year-round.
Which is great for just everyday curb appeal.
Exactly, and it drastically increases home security, too.
Oh, true.
But then on October 31st, you open the app while sitting on your couch, you tap a button, and the house is suddenly glowing orange and purple for Halloween.
That is so cool.
Then you tap it again in December, and you have alternating red and green or like a cascading icy blue effect.
So you never have to put up or take down lights again.
Never. You can program it for the 4th of July. You can set it to your specific sports team's colors on Super Bowl Sundays.
Oh, people would love that.
Right. Or you can just isolate a few specific downward-facing diodes to highlight a beautiful architectural column or a specific landscaping feature. It totally bridges the gap between pure utility and high-end lifestyle customization.
All while permanently eliminating the physical danger of temporary light installation.
Exactly.
But okay, here is the critical pivot in our deep dive today.
Hit me.
You can have the most advanced, brand-agnostic, 25-year warranted gutter system seamlessly diverting water.
Yep.
You can have a brilliant smartphone-controlled invisible lighting system highlighting the architecture. But none of that matters if the actual canvas of the house, the materials themselves, are literally rotting away beneath the surface.
Oh, 100%.
You do not put premium lighting on a dirty, decaying house.
No, you don't. Which brings us to the final and arguably most important defensive service in their portfolio.
Yeah.
Our sources show PV North provides comprehensive exterior cleaning, and they specifically list pressure soft washing while targeting moss removal, roofs, driveways, patios, decks.
See, this raises an important question because the inclusion of both pressure and soft washing is a massive operational distinction to me.
Huge distinction.
Right, because I feel like most people think exterior cleaning just means renting a massive 4,000 PSI pressure washer from a hardware store and blasting everything in sight until it looks new.
And that indiscriminate blasting is exactly how a homeowner destroys $10,000 worth of property in a single afternoon.
Literally destroying the house trying to clean it.
Yeah, water pressurized to 4,000 pounds per square inch is a kinetic weapon.
Wow, a weapon.
It really is. It can carve your initials into a solid brick wall. So if you point that kind of kinetic energy at a wooden deck, you will splinter the wood fibers, leaving the deck looking furry and completely ruined.
I've seen that. The wood gets all fuzzy.
Yes, that's damage. And if you point it at an asphalt shingle roof just to remove some dirt, you will instantly strip away all the protective ceramic granules, which drastically accelerates the death of the roof.
So, if you can't use pressure to clean the delicate parts of the house, how does PV North actually remove the organic growth? The sources specifically highlight moss removal, and in a damp, shaded climate like Northern California, moss is basically the ultimate enemy of the homeowner.
Oh, it really is. And, moss is not just an aesthetic blemish. Think of moss as a highly aggressive parasite.
A parasite?
Yeah. It thrives in damp, shaded environments, and it requires moisture to survive. When a spore lands on an asphalt shingle roof and begins to grow, it acts like a sponge, holding rainwater against the roof surface for days or even weeks after a storm has passed.
So it prevents the roof from doing its primary job, which is just to shed water and dry out.
Exactly. But it's actually worse than just holding water.
How could it be worse?
Moss possesses these tiny root-like structures called rhizoids.
Rhizoids, okay.
And these rhizoids actively seek out the microscopic gaps between the granules on the asphalt shingles. As the moss grows and expands, those rhizoids physically pry the granules apart.
Oh, wow. They are literally digging into the roof.
Yes. They lift the edges of the shingles, breaking the waterproof seal, and eventually they create pathways for water to penetrate the underlayment, rot the roof decking, and leak directly into the attic.
So if a homeowner just ignores the moss or tries to blast it away with a pressure washer, they are effectively destroying the structural integrity of the roof.
Without a doubt.
This is where the chemistry of soft washing becomes so vital. How does soft washing actually defeat the moss without destroying the shingle?
Well, soft washing replaces kinetic energy with chemical intelligence.
Chemical intelligence.
Like that. Instead of using high pressure, a specialized pump delivers a custom blended chemical solution, which is typically a mixture of sodium hypochlorite, algicides, and specialized surfactants.
Okay.
And it delivers this at a very low pressure. We're talking about the pressure of a standard garden hose.
Wait, though, if they are spraying chemicals onto the roof to kill the moss, isn't that just going to run off and instantly kill all the landscaping and grass around the foundation of the house?
See, that is the exact operational challenge of soft washing, and it's exactly why it requires immense experience to execute properly. The technicians have to carefully manage the runoff.
How do they do that?
They aggressively pre-wet all the surrounding vegetation with fresh water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which fills the cellular structure of the plants so they physically can't absorb any accidental chemical drift. They capture the runoff from the downspouts, and they apply neutralizing agents to the soil afterward.
Wow. It's a highly calculated chemical operation.
It is. The surfactants in the soft wash solution allow the chemicals to actually cling to the roof surface rather than immediately running off. The solution penetrates the cellular walls of the moss, the algae, and the lichen, killing the organism completely down to the root level.
So it doesn't just knock it off, it kills it entirely.
Right. And then, over the next few weeks, the dead root structures simply release their grip on the shingle, and the rain washes the dead organic matter away gently, leaving the protective granules perfectly intact.
That distinction shows such a profound understanding of material science. They use soft washing for the delicate canvas of the roof and the wooden decks, but the sources also mention pressure washing for driveways and patios.
Right, because concrete and stone hardscapes require a completely different approach. Concrete is incredibly porous, and it absorbs deep-set stains like automotive oil, tire rubber, and heavy dirt.
So the chemical wash isn't enough for that?
No, chemical soft washing alone won't lift a deep oil stain out of a driveway. For those robust materials, you absolutely need the kinetic force of a high-pressure surface cleaner to agitate and extract the grime from the pores of the concrete. By advertising both methods, PV North is signaling that they approach exterior cleaning as material scientists, not just, guys with a hose.
They treat the property as an interconnected ecosystem.
Yeah.
You need the roof clean so the moss doesn't degrade the shingles, which crumble into the gutters, which ruins the 25-year warranty, which overflows onto the driveway, which creates liability. It's all connected.
Beautifully summarized.
Thanks. Now, looking through all of this source material, the complex fluid dynamics of the agnostic gutters, the commercial liability, the smartphone lighting, the chemical makeup of soft washing, there is one tiny, almost hidden detail at the very bottom of their website that I think perfectly contextualizes who this company actually is.
I know exactly what you're going to point out. I was waiting for this.
It's so good. So, what does this all mean? Right at the bottom of the page, buried in the footer text alongside their 2022 copyright, it reads, "Just another Elementor-hosted website, complete with a little winking smiley face."
The winking smiley face is the best part. That is a highly revealing piece of web metadata for a company to just leave visible. Elementor, for those who don't know, is a popular accessible website building tool.
Right. Usually, a company trying to dominate a regional market will pay a digital marketing firm tens of thousands of dollars to build a custom, slick, hyper-corporate website.
Oh, absolutely.
They scrub all the template metadata away to create this illusion that they are a massive, faceless, multinational conglomerate. But PV North just leaves the Elementor tag right there with a wink.
This strips away all the pretense.
Exactly. I mean, it completely aligns with their no hidden fees ethos. It says, look, we aren't software developers. We aren't some venture capital-backed tech startup masquerading as a home services brand.
Right. We do gutters.
Yeah. We are local, hardworking contractors in Northern California. We spend our time, our energy, and our resources engineering your roof drainage and perfecting our soft wash chemical mixtures. We aren't wasting your money on a pretentious million-dollar web design.
It is charmingly upfront.
It really is, and it perfectly encapsulates that baseline of transparency we discussed at the very beginning.
Transparency down to the very source code of their digital presence. What you see is precisely what you get. Raw, unpolished honesty, combined with deep technical expertise where it actually impacts the physical health of your home.
So let's pull all these threads together. When we look at the holistic picture of PV North gutter filters and exterior cleaning, we aren't just looking at a company that cleans up leaves. We're looking at a masterclass in mitigating the physical and psychological burdens of property ownership in Northern California.
Absolutely. They break the contractor's knowledge monopoly by guaranteeing forthright, transparent pricing without hidden fees.
They act as agnostic structural consultants, evaluating the specific fluid dynamics of your unique roof to select the perfect gutter system. And then they back that custom engineering with a massive generational 25-plus year warranty.
And they scale those exact same principles to the commercial sector, right? Acting as a rapid deployment lifeline for property managers who are looking to centralize their exterior maintenance and neutralize massive liabilities like flooded carports and icy walkways.
They eliminate the physical danger and aesthetic clunkiness of